Hey, super legends, superheroes, and superstars. Welcome to another episode of the Hot Hire podcast. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on LinkedIn. So if you were tuned in, please let me know where you are from around the world. I love it when people put emojis in the chat screen. Give me a fire emoji. Send us some love. Today, we are going to absolutely spit some fire. And there's about a 20-second delay. So I'm going to get my next guest out here. I absolutely love this guy. We met in 2018, September of 2018, at a Tony Robbins event. What I love about this guy is that he's really switched on. He's got a great business mind, and he's just one of the most kind, caring, compassionate people that you will ever meet. And he's doing some great things for his clients. So without any further ado, I want to give a big, massive, ginormous welcome to Robbie Tall.
Wow, what an intro, bro. Thanks so much. It's awesome to be here.
How are you, legend?
Dude, I'm great. It's such a crazy time of year. Everyone's like doing their celebrations or getting ready for them, and I feel like things are speeding up with trying to close some stuff out this year. I've spoken to so many clients and different people, and everyone feels like it's actually getting busier, not winding down. So it's a little bit of a different year this year, I think.
That's so good. I've heard that a lot recently. It's like with a few people that I've spoken to, they're like, "Oh, I've been the busiest I've ever been." Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. Look, if you're an entrepreneur, it's probably a good problem to have.
The best problem. All right. So, do you want to give us a little bit of background about yourself and also your career journey?
Yeah. I mean, look, most of my career has been in the corporate space. I mean, I've done a lot, in reality, from, running a juice bar chain, starting a juice bar chain in my early 20s, right up to sort of head of business development for huge multinational like Staples. So the sales stuff has probably taken a big chunk of the time that I've done. But, I guess what led me to doing what I'm doing now as a result of all that, I mean, because you think about it, anything where you're leading a team of people, it's all about leadership. It's all about relationships. It's all about helping people to deliver a result, because that's, in sales, that's what matters, the result. And so I kind of, when we met at the Tony Robbins event, was one of the beginning moments, one of the big pivotal moments where my eyes started to widen to really what the potential is for someone like me, or just what really life could be about, and that in business as well, which led to what everything is about these days, in taking that leadership and applying it to helping people start their own businesses online, which I really love to get to do as well. So it's an interesting journey, man, from this 9-to-5 corporate, and I know you know what that's about as well. And you could probably never go back. In fact, I just don't think it's possible. Could you do it? Yeah, right.
Right, never.
And so it's about sort of unleashing that in other people and getting them to see the opportunity that sits there. Because the great thing is, there's so much incredible knowledge in the world out there. And these days we're all doing this, like we're doing right now. We're online, where the opportunities for us to reach an audience are limitless, really. So the knowledge and the wisdom of people can be sought quite comfortably and easily. And if you know how to package it up, which is what we try to teach and share, then all of a sudden you've got a business that you can work online and get a bit of time freedom back, as well as enjoy some liberties that you wouldn't otherwise have when you're in a cubicle every day. I think that's worthwhile.
Definitely. Robbie, right, you're gonna have to talk to me about entrepreneurship, because I didn't realize that you started off with a juice bar. So you've got the juice bar, you've had a sales career, you've managed people. So I feel that salespeople, we've all got that entrepreneurial sort of spirit, but there's only a few of us that will actually make the jump. And then you're doing your business coaching, you're helping your clients. So yeah, talk to me about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, I used to read books about entrepreneurship. One of the first ones I ever read was Richard Branson's autobiography. I was fortunate enough to actually take the man surfing one time through a connection through the juice bars, actually, once back in the day. It was pretty awesome.
Did you just say you took Richard Branson's surfing? Is that what I just said?
Yeah, man, it was a long time ago, man. I was in early 20s, He actually gave a toast to me at the dinner that night. It was actually my girlfriend at the time's family connection. And they were staying with us up at their place in Noosa. And he raised a glass because I took him surfing. And I was this shy kid. I was not an extrovert at all. So I was just this humble little, thanks, mate. You know, but it did inspire me, and I think you know, when and you and I would know this very well now, is that it's not for the faint of heart, but you know, I think from a sales perspective, I think it does lend itself to being fairly entrepreneurial. I mean, a lot of the sales leaders I've developed, a lot of the people I've led, and even reported into, a lot of them have moved into their own ventures, and it's really awesome to see. And I think, I think from a sales perspective, it does. I mean, the lifeblood of any business is sales. Like, if you don't have sales, if you don't have customers, you don't exist. And so, you know, every good CEO that I can think of has had some level of sales experience, because you've got to understand it in order to succeed. That's just a fact. And then hire really good people to help you do that. So you've got to have that wisdom, or that insight into what people want, and then how to get it to them. So I think if in a sales environment, you really do start to get to know that really well. And so you start to maybe get some ideas. If you're a little bit creative, you go, well, if I can deliver this for this client in the corporate world, well, what if I did that for myself? You know, I know what to do. Why wouldn't I maybe go and I've got this idea? Like, I don't know, like I can find these mice and find a different way to sell this same thing to people because of the way that I see it. And all of a sudden you go, well, I'm going to go do that. And there's been some great success stories of young entrepreneurs that, you know, started out as sales in my teams and have gone on to lead multi-million-dollar businesses in some pretty niche stuff. And there's one thing I'll say is that there's a dollar to be made in just about anything if you can find the way. But the way is there and the market is there. It's just a matter of, you know, finding that fit between one and the other. So I would definitely say that, like, entrepreneurship, it takes a particular kind of person. Like, we're all a little bit nuts in some respect, because we get up and we do the job and we keep doing the job, and then we go to sleep and things break and we fail and we learn and we keep moving forward. But it's that drive and that passion for seeing that thing happen, that result occur, that leads you to just keep going, even when it all hits the fan and there's a mess everywhere. You get the mop and bucket out and you start again the next day. So you've got to have that level of, you know, drive. But, you know, you and I were speaking about this off air just before, about getting really clear about why you're doing it. You know, I think, like, a lot of my clients, and maybe yours too, underestimate that, getting really clear about what's important to you and who you want to be through this process. When I say who you want to be, it's you know, you got to realize that you're going to make mistakes, that you're going to fail along the way, and that you'll also succeed immensely. But it's the failures that you really learn the most, and it's also where you grow the most. And so it's often not it's not the result that you get, it's actually who you end up becoming through the learning that builds you to being the person who deserves the success that you ultimately end up getting. Because you think about it, like, I used to go to, you know, I went to private school, okay. But
no judgment. No,
but I went to school with some of these, and they got given everything, and you know, I got a big family, and my family looked after me pretty well. But we're a big family. I'm the youngest of 6, so, you know, I finished everything on my plate, and, you know, I peeled prawns really quickly, because if I was slow, I'd miss out. You know, that's the kind of deal. So,
yes.
But some of these, or shrimp for, you know, the rest of the world.
Put some shrimps on the barbie.
Yeah, exactly. But I engaged with some pretty amazing people through school and stuff. But some, you know, you could see that they were kind of given everything, and that's fine if you're able to provide. But I just caution that, because ultimately, you know, if they've gotten everything that they've wanted, they don't respect the journey of achievement and earning it. And I think as an entrepreneur, you've got to realize that, to connect with that, because you know you're going to have to earn it, and you have to get up every day to do it. And when you fail, you learn, and that's how you become the person that deserves to have that success ultimately. And at the end of the day, you've earned your stripes.
I love that. Absolutely love that. All right. So with the salespeople that you've trained over the years, are there any particular sort of like qualities or traits that, you know, that you look for?
Really, attitude's the big one. Like, attitudes, people, like young people, I used to hire a lot of, like, junior people and groom them into bigger careers. And I think attitude and ability to communicate is a really big one. I mean, I'm a bit of a creative person. high level, eye in the sky, but I'm also a bit of a driver. So I like to just GSD, I won't swear on here, but you know what that means. And
you can swear. It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, like get shit done. And that became the culture of every sales team or every unit that I led was GSD, like just get shit done. And if it's not something that's contributing to your ability to get the job done, you've got to question, is it worth me doing this? Is it worth the time? And what was great about that is it developed a leadership mindset in my teams, in my people, because they started to look for opportunities. And I mean, the culture was like, come to me with solutions, not problems. Like if you've got a problem, that's great, but come along and tell me like, well, what do you think? Because I'm going to ask you anyway, so be ready. And quite often it would, it took a while for a couple of guys, and they go, okay, I get how this works. And it got them thinking for themselves. And all of a sudden I had less of a job to do managing people, and I could focus more on leading people to the vision that I'd set for the team and where we wanted to take things. And as a result, they succeeded a lot faster because they weren't waiting to be told what to do. They were seeking out answers for themselves, and they were moving themselves forward, and it was brilliant. So I guess what I look for would be, people who aren't afraid to have a go, I guess confidence in some way, and that comes through in how they hold themselves in communication. And just a willingness to have a go. I ask some interesting questions, put people on the spot during interviews that kind of throw them off guard, and just how they respond to that, if they have a laugh or, a bit of a joke and that kind of thing, just to see the character of the person, not just, point blank answering questions. And I'm a pretty personable guy as well. So I do try to make things, pretty friendly or, not make it awkward for them. But I can also sit back and let them kind of feel a bit of a presence too. And in those moments, you really do get a little bit of a sense of the character of the individual. So I used to play around with that just to test, where are they at? And they're the right kind of fit. Are they going to go for it? I never mind if people fail. I would never care. But just like, what do we learn? And let's not do that again. So go for it. I'd rather you go for it than you sit back and do nothing. Take the opportunities. And it became, I guess in a lot of sense, the culture was kind of entrepreneurial, even in the sales organizations, because people started looking for the alternatives to the mainstream, to the norm. And we ended up creating projects. I mean, our teams had started building their own, like doing their own projects. Like, hey, we want to test this with this market, see if we actually get a result. It's like, boom, let's do it. Let's go. They would partner up with each other and go, we want to do more. I wasn't saying, hey guys, can you do more? They were asking to do more. It was fantastic. And I think having that kind of culture is really important in any business. The more and I guess it comes down to leadership, but the more you have more brains thinking about the best solutions and the best way forward. I mean, you think about it. If it's just a CEO at the top, I've got this leadership model that I'm working on for another client, a corporate client actually, in leadership for next year. And I think about this: if you've got this one brain at the top, that's just like, that's where all the vision is. That's where the ideas and entrepreneurialism are. Well, it's just one person. Then they've now got to communicate that to their leaders, and then maybe their leaders, and then their people, all the way down the food chain. But what if the person at the top instills in their leaders a leadership mindset, an entrepreneurial look for solutions mindset, and then they do it to their people? You've got this whole organization now that's thinking, how do I make this thing work better? How do I improve the experience for my clients? How do I make this organization, this home that I spend, 40, 50, 60 hours a week in, work better for the people that I work with? How do we get this whole thing to work even better than it does right now? And all of a sudden, innovation is through the roof. The speed at which things occur, the collaborations that then end up happening as a result of that as well. It's massive, and I think people underestimate just how powerful it can be until you've experienced it, and then you can't go back. It's like, wow, that's in my head now. I have to do this everywhere I go now, and that's exactly how I try to run my businesses at the same time. It's if I'm not looking for innovations and looking for people who can help me do that, so I'm not the only brain working on what's next, then I'm not doing it right. You know what I mean?
I love that. So empowering like people to be able to make decisions or find solutions, and that's what it's all about. So you've got me thinking of a question. So managing people, coaching people, are there any sort of similarities or difference, or is it pretty much the same? Or
look, when it comes to managing people, I mean, there's managing people, there's leading people, and then there's coaching people. I think leadership is the consistent across the two. But if we look at, say, a corporate environment where it's more management, and look, don't get me wrong, sometimes I have to like manage clients too to give them a bit of a kick in the pants to keep moving forward, right? So it's not totally exempt. But when it comes to management, it's more like there's a level of consequence to the individual in some respect versus, and you know, in that environment, I would coach my people. That was my version of leadership, I suppose, because to get the best out of a person in the corporate environment, it's not just about the job, and it's not just managing them to the tasks to do. It's about who the person is and how to get the best out of them on those tasks and the job. Whereas then you go into coaching, and it's really all about, well, here's the frameworks, here's the tools, here's the resources. I will coach you to get out of your own way to do that. But ultimately, it's on them at that point. Their accountability is their own accountability. Now, you can try to hold them accountable, but if they decide that for whatever reason that, you know, life is too busy at the moment and they're not allocating the time to it, well, they're not driving to work every day where I'm their manager and can sort of enforce that change and enforce the work to occur. So it's a little bit of a different scenario in that sense, but there is some bleeding across the two that happens. Does that answer the question? Or
Yes, I love that. I was just thinking, like, for my next question, with, you know, like a morning routine, an evening routine, like, do you set yourself up for the next day? Like, do you go for a surf? Do you go for like a swim? Do you go for a run? Do you do the gym?
Yeah.
So, what do you do to?
So my days. So I don't know if you've seen any of my content, but put a program. We've got a program that's all about more mindset stuff, and that's predominantly because a lot of business clients were getting held up by this, and so a lot of time was spent sort of talking about that stuff when business was more important to some other clients. So we created another space for that to occur specifically, and built a framework which I personally live by, which is Dr. Me: diet, rest, meditation, and exercise. And that needs to be a daily practice, or at least 4 to 6 days per week. So minimum 4, up to 6. Have a rest day if you want. But those things need to be ingrained in you on a regular basis. So for me, what does that look like? So I do make sure that I get a good night's sleep. As a minimum 6 if I'm really busy and working late and up early but 7.5 is the gold standard. Yeah. And sometimes if I have space in the afternoon, if I've had a busy little time, I might have a 20-minute siesta in the afternoon to kind of recharge, and I kick on for the rest of the day. So that's cool too. And that's something that you wouldn't get in a corporate environment, I can assure you. And so, in the morning I'll get up, I'll do a meditation. I've got a lovely friend who has actually written some recordings for me specifically, which is really nice. I've just started this week going through, and they're amazing. And then I set some intention. And some gratitude as a part of that process. And here's a tip, guys: tell your body and all your cells thanks for everything they do so loyally every day, because we're made up of water. And I don't know if you've seen Emoto's experiments with water, but you should check it out online. But your body is so much made up of water. It's listening, so pay attention. So I do that too, to keep my health on point. Yeah. And then I'll do some exercise. Whether it's just, you know, at home during the lockdowns, you know, push-ups, sit-ups, got a couple of dumbbells and things like that, or head down to the beach and have a jog. But typically when it's normal, I'll go to the gym, I'll do yoga, I might do Pilates. I try to mix it up because anyone of the same thing is, you know, you're into fitness as well. It becomes mundane, your body gets too conditioned to it. So something, but I try to do it at least 4 days a week. And then, get some food into me and get to work. And plan for the day. So, I mean, I schedule everything. I don't know if you do, but if I schedule it, it means that it'll get done. With all the things that you try to accomplish in a day, scheduling it in, but also prioritizing. You know, the big rocks and little rocks analogy. Yeah. You've got to work to something similar to that, because especially when, you know, you're a creative entrepreneur, there's a lot of shiny objects. I mean, we all know the shiny object syndrome. There's a lot of stuff you can chase down, but ultimately, is it helping your business where it is right now to get where you're going? So I always just prioritize, you know, what's the big 3 today? Just make sure those 3 things happen. At the very least, just make sure those 3 things happen. Once they're done, we'll add to the next. But focus on those first 3, the top 3 to GSD. And that's pretty much it. And I meditate in the afternoons, man. I eat pretty well. You know, I try not to eat a lot of red meat. That's a new thing, but I do feel a lot better as a result of that. So less red meat, less meat in general, but yeah, definitely a lot of less red meat.
Robbie, that is gold. All right, do you want to tell us a little bit about like your business, like how you help your clients, and also how people can get hold of you if they're watching or listening to the audio?
Awesome. Well, we're just doing a pre-launch right now of a new program, which is basically a culmination of a year and a half's worth of work, taking the feedback from top clients, challenged clients, like really what are the things that are turning the dial for you, getting the result, and where are we spending time that is or too much time that's not necessarily yielding as much of a result for the effort we're putting in. And we created this new program called Clarity to Clients, so that it delivers exactly that. You know exactly what it is you're doing, you know who you're serving, where they are, and then you can go and get clients and do your awesomeness with them. So yeah, that's in pre-launch right now. So I think we're going to maybe put the link down the bottom here. We've got a link before that, but we've just rebranded to you as a service. Because ultimately, when it comes to building an online business that's about education and sharing wisdom and propelling the propensity of awareness forward, that is essentially what it's about. And that's exactly what we teach. So you can go to youasaservice.com. We've got some changes to that site coming. So probably over the 2 weeks between now, depending on when you're listening to this, you'll see those changes come through for us there, because we've got a big lot of shifts coming through in our business over the Christmas break while we shut down. It's go time. That's why I think I was saying things are starting to get a bit more busy than it would be otherwise. But basically we work mostly with coaches or budding coaches, people are getting started, and then existing coaches who want to then digitize their experience so that they can scale more easily and not spend as much time in the doing, but maybe supplement some of the one-on-one stuff or the teaching stuff they'd be doing with some video content and other resources that help to show clients the what to do. And then when they come together for the coaching sessions in person or on phone, it's more about how to actually do that, how to actually execute that. And it allows them to spend more time, building great stuff for the clients, but also not limited in their capacity to earn by just one-on-one experience, back-to-back one-on-one experiences. So yeah, it's a really exciting space, and it's a really exciting time for us to be doing that, with the world kind of going more digital than ever before. So we're really excited about how that's playing out so far.
Mate, that is epic. All right, very last question. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with? Anything at all?
Man, I got so many like coined terms that I live by, but the big one I would say is, it's only ever failure if you stop. If you stop trying, that's the moment you failed. And sometimes you can make the conscious decision to say, I actually don't want to do this. And that's fine. Move on and learn something new. But if the desire is genuinely there and it's something you believe in, then you only ever fail when you stop trying. Everything else is just a lesson. So if you can get your head around that and you're passionate enough about it, and you just pick yourself up and keep moving forward, even through the challenging stuff, because they will arrive, you forget about it. Nothing in life is linear towards success. It requires you to fail in order for you to succeed to the levels that you're going to. So it's only failure if you stop trying. That would be what I'd leave behind.
Somebody call Tiger Woods, because that was a hole in one. Love that, bro. Absolutely love it. So, Robbie, I just want to say a massive, huge thank you to you. Like, you're an absolute superstar. I've got so much love for you. You're one of the most charismatic, engaging, compassionate guys, and I've just got so much love for you, bro. So, thank you for all the value and for coming on and just spitting some fire. Love it.
And it's been awesome to jump on, man. I really appreciate it. And honestly, when we are able to, we've got to be able to have that catch up. It's been way too long.
Definitely, 100% we will. Yeah, thank you, bro.